Okie dokie. I've had to retake this video a couple times, so excuse me if everything I'm saying feels like a little bit of repetition. But anyway, animated movies from the 2000s were so much better than what we have today. And I'm not talking about Puss in Boots or the new Spider-Man movies. Those are great in their own rights. But you have to admit, there is something about Garfield that is just awesome. Animated movies from the 2000s were always so interesting to me from the nostalgia that I have growing up as a 2000s kid. I remember in 2009, probably, I went over to my grandma's house and I got to watch a movie that she bought on DVD. And it was my first time watching the Bee Movie. It was such an interesting time. There is one thing I want you to do before I start this list, though, and that is to please enjoy. I don't care if you follow, subscribe, make your own opinions, comment, whatever. Go ahead and do all that if you want to, but most of all, please enjoy the video. That is all I want you to take from this. The first movie I wanted to start off with was the Bee Movie, hence the introduction. The Bee Movie, everybody knows it, was made in 2007 and is an animated comedy produced by DreamWorks, featuring the voice talents of Jerry Seinfeld, which was weird to me because nobody knew who Jerry Seinfeld was as a kid. So just to cast him like that was obviously just a celebrity cast for the time. But he plays a character named Barry B. Benson who sues the human race for stealing honey after learning about the true things. This movie was really weird and quirky with its humor and dialogue, making jokes about suicide.
How about a suicide pact?
How would we do it?
I'll sting you, you step on me.
That just kills you twice.
Right.
Or having a fantasy about sleeping with a woman as a bee. Yeah, but I find that part of the quirkiness and witty dialogue was contributed to why I find it such a nostalgic experience. You always remember going into like maybe 6th or 7th grade and it's one of those last days of school, so your teacher just doesn't care anymore and they're like, what do you wanna watch? And so everybody just picks out movies and then one kid says Bee Movie and everybody just goes for the Bee Movie. It's so good. Nothing can beat it. Nothing at all. Next one I wanted to talk about was Cars. The original Cars movie was such a interesting thing to me that it was I think it was the last Disney movie to be on VHS, which I always found interesting. It's a Pixar film, Pixar Disney, whatever, that tells the story of Lightning McQueen, a race car who has a personality. Cars have feelings, you know. Who finds himself in a small town called Radiator Springs. The movie explores themes of friendship and humility and self-discovery, and it holds a special place in the hearts of a lot of people who remember it as a significant milestone from the tradition of physical media to digital. Only a classic for me. There's so much music in that, and there's so much in that movie that is just amazing. You see growth, you see character development, you see friendships form despite personalities being opposites. I mean, Mater is like the complete opposite of what Lightning McQueen was so used to. He was used to famous, popularity, all of these things. Mater is just some country guy who just wants to enjoy life, and he met somebody and wants to enjoy life with them. It's such an interesting movie to rewatch on occasion, because then you remember about the sequel and how weird the sequel is. So while this movie can cause nostalgia, and it's amazing storytelling, and amazing characters, and amazing everything about it, why did they do that to the second one?
Nobody likes to be hated by the population, till I find I don't mind when they say go away.
Another one I have in the back of my mind all the time is Garfield, and I don't know why, but to me growing up, I always watched Garfield as like a comfort movie. It was always interesting to me seeing the CG characters, and I guess we still have that kind of movie with Sonic now. Garfield brings such a weird idea of a CG animated cat designed like that, blending into live action animation. And I was hesitant about counting this to my animated videos because, well, there's only one animated thing in the movie, and that is Garfield, but it's very interesting to see how well they did, in all honesty, with Garfield's design. I mean, it was made in 2004, you give it some credit for that. It blends live action with animation, and it has Bill Murray providing the voice for Garfield. And yeah, while it did receive a lot of mixed reviews, it does have a nostalgic charm for fans who grew up with comic strip books like I did, capturing the essence of the mischievous cat's antics. Also, I found it weird how they only animated Garfield and not Odie. Like, you grabbed a normal dog, but not a tabby cat. I mean, you could have just done like a dog with a blog scenario where you just like animate the mouth moving every now and then for like expressions and stuff. Because, you know, no, it's just me. Okay.
A little uglier.
One of my favorite movies growing up was Treasure Planet. This movie was originally on VHS for me as a kid, and then we also had a DVD format of it. So it's a really special movie to me. So Treasure Planet was one of those few animated films that bombed. A lot of Disney films bomb now. Treasure Planet was a futuristic space-themed movie which blended the traditional 2D animation with stunning CG visuals, creating a unique and visual appealing aesthetic. While it was not a commercial success upon its release, it has created a dedicated fan base over the years due to its adventure spirit and its so many memorable characters. The movie was set up to fail from the get-go because it was put to compete against Harry Potter. It very much reminds me of the Atlantis movie. Yeah, they had a TV show for that as well. But Atlantis, I know a lot of people grew up with Atlantis, and it's probably a lot better than Treasure Planet, but Treasure Planet just invokes that pirate aesthetic to such a weird setting, and it's just so nice to see this movie over and over again. Like, I could honestly rewatch it over and over again, and it would mean the world to me if you gave it a chance as well to watch. Now, getting back into just 3D animated movies, I want to talk about Madagascar. Madagascar was made in 2005 and is such a weird thing to create. You have these animals that were in a zoo in New York. One of them just surviving in a boat box from shipment, from poachers. It's weird. Anyway, the film is basically the wild adventure of these 4 zoo animals who get stranded on the island of Madagascar, hence the name. Wow. The film combines humor, vibrant animation, and catchy songs to create a nostalgic experience for many who grew up watching it. I remember having the Christmas DVD for this as well. And a blanket. I had a Christmas blanket of Marty the zebra. By the way, my favorite character is Melman. Melman Love in the comments, please. Melman Love. But yeah, I remember watching this movie as a kid growing up, and then buying the DVD with the Christmas special because it was Christmas time, and watching that and being so disappointed. These characters are so weird to me that I find it nostalgic to watch, because simply, I'ma just say it, the side characters are so much better than the actual main characters in every single one of these movies, because you have characters like Mort, King Julian, you have characters like Melman. Everybody except for Alex is so much better, in my opinion. That might be a weird opinion to have, but yeah, it's mine. And hey, I don't know, you're watching, so why not?
It's gonna be the best wave of my life, and I hope the camera's rolling because you're gonna want to watch it over and over and over and over again. It's gonna be awesome.
The final movie I have on this list is Surf's Up from 2007. This movie was the movie that introduced me to rock music, or pop rock slash everything rock related, I guess I should say. Because it had songs like Drive by Incubus, Green Day's American Idiot. It is just so interesting to me that they made this movie. And a sequel to it that we're not going to talk about because it actually doesn't exist. What? But Surf's Up is a animated movie in the style of a mockumentary film that follows the journey of a penguin named Cody Maverick who aspires to become a professional surfer. The movie captures the nostalgia of classic surfing films from the 1960s and 70s, like Lords of Dogtown and things like that. Hey, future Toomble here. Looking back on the editing, I don't know what movie I was thinking about when I was making this, but yeah, I got my time wrong. Definitely not a 60s or 70s movie. And Lords of Dogtown, they started surfing in the beginning, but they're actually skaters, so ignore that part. But yeah, they take a bunch of references from old surf movies, but I just can't figure out what movie I was thinking of at this time. Sorry about that confusion. And with its unique documentary style presentation and charming characters like Chicken Joe, oh my god, respect for Chicken Joe, Surf's Up enjoys so much of its characters. You can tell the creators just had such a good time creating these stories with these characters, and it offers just a overall lighthearted experience that gives you so many in-depth feels about how and who Cody Maverick was and is growing up. This character feels real. It doesn't feel like something just written to create money or like toys or anything. It just feels like a movie, something to watch and something to enjoy. Also, one more time, that Drive by Incubus thing is so good. That one scene right there is the precipice of the movie. I don't care about the plot, I don't care about anything. Cody Maverick says, "Let me be me," and that is cool as heck. I'm not swearing. I also wanted to include an honorable mention because it's not made in the 2000s, it was made in 2011, but hey, I'm gonna count it because why not? It's my video, not yours. Huh. Rango. What can I say about Rango? Rango, while not being included in this actual list, is worth mentioning. It's the 3D animated film following the story of a chameleon named Rango, who becomes the sheriff of a Wild West town, and with its unique visual style and clever references to classic Western films, with the voice talents of Johnny Depp as Rango, it just stands out as an animated movie. It's such an interesting story. Every single time that I've watched this, I don't get bored. There is no boring parts in this movie. I love the scenes with the bats flying, and my entire family is something I quote with my friends every now and then as well. Every scene from Rango is so memorable. Every character from Rango seems like they have their own background and story. You can see these characters and create a vivid image in your head about what might be their past. You can see a rabbit with an arrow sticking through his eye. This movie, by the way, was not afraid to be graphic. Like, it's interesting. You can see a character though with arrow in its eye, for example, the rabbit doctor, and it might be the rabbit doctor. I don't know what I'm talking about sometimes, but you can just create a story in your head, the background of this character, like what happened to him. You can see that the creators of this movie were always so interested in making sure that everything had detail, everything was cool. The bathroom was a Pepto-Bismol, for example. Like, all of these small animals using human items as houses, for example, things like that. Copying Western examples of media and referencing them as well was always so interesting to me how they did that. The metaphor with crossing the road during the night, the musical score behind this movie was always so good as well. All of these animated movies evoke a sense of nostalgia for various reasons to me, whether it's their unique storytelling, their characters, or the time period in which they were released or set in. They continue to be enjoyed by audiences of different ages, reminding them of the joy and excitement they experience when watching these films. And I personally love each and every one of them. Make sure to form your own opinions in the comments, by the way, and, well, that's if you comment. You don't have to. But I hope you enjoyed this little video of me talking. I know it's rambling and it's not very set in like every other kind of tier list video, I guess, would be. I'm kind of putting that in quotes, but yeah. I just figured I'd talk about this for a bit because it's something I find enjoyable, and I hope you enjoy. So, yeah. Thank you. Bye.